Hello, everybody. Long time no here, but I'm here. It's your boy Quaz, and this is a brand spanking new episode of the Quazemoto show. I just logged on to my YouTube account, and I saw the last time I did a fucking show was January 1st or something. Long time, man. I know. It's been a long fucking time, man. But I got shit going on, man. Lots of shit. I don't know where D is. He's probably went back to Mars. I don't know where J is. He's lost somewhere. No one wants to do the show. If anyone wants to do the show with me, hit me up. I need a co-host. Cause my two regular co-hosts, they're nowhere to be found. Right after New Year's, I tried to do a show with D and tried to do a show with J and tried to do a show with D and J together. But, I don't know where those fools are. No reply to calls or texts. So, and then fucking winter semester started at school and I got busy with that. Classes were proven to be tougher than the last ones. So, got focused on school, got focused on work, got focused on wife, kids, life, and all that stuff. I have a bunch of shit going on, my wife's truck died and I had to get a new engine and everything, and I'm trying to get a lawsuit, and I got a lawyer to fight the dealership that screwed me over. So I just had a lot of shit going on. Plus, bottom line, honesty, I got lazy. I'm like, yeah, I'll do a show tomorrow. And then tomorrow became next week, and next week became next week, and next week became next month. And now it's like February fucking 16th, on a Tuesday. And I'm like, fuck, let's do this. But I have gotten the emails and everything. Everyone's saying, yo, Quaz, where you at? Where you at? What's up? I apologize. I know a lot of people they're saying, when are you going to do your next show, bro? When are you going to do your next show? And I was like, damn, I guess I got to do a new show. So here it is. Lots going on. Both in the political world, the sports world, and the pop culture world. Where to begin? We'll start with political. We'll start from the most recent, and I guess work our way back. Antonin Scalia, one of the 9 Supreme Court justices, passed away this weekend. And his body was not even cold. Body was still warm. And fucking Republicans are already, starting a brouhaha, saying, President Obama, he can't nominate anyone to fill the vacated seat. I'm like, are these dudes serious? Are they just making up shit as they go? One of the president's duties and responsibilities, I just like the word duty. I like saying duty. Duty. One of the president's responsibility and duty is to appoint judges, both to the federal and to the Supreme Court. And last time I checked, President Obama is still our president. And he will nominate as he sees fit. Republicans and Republican presidential candidates, they're promising, filibusters and long-winded nomination proceedings and whatnot. I mean, that's the shit I hate, The Republicans want to draw this out with the hopes of having a Republican, i.e. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, etc., be nominated or win the presidential election this November, and then by January 20th, next January 20th, 2017, when the new president's sworn in, they can nominate a Republican or a conservative judge to the court. Because the last thing Republicans want is another liberal judge on the court and tip the balance to the liberal side. So that's why all the big commotion over Scalia dying, passing away, and Republicans saying we're going to fight whatever President Obama, whoever he nominates, and that's just crazy. Last time I checked, President nominates the candidate, Congress, and the Judicial Selection Committee, or the Judicial Nominations Selection Committee. It's their responsibility to approve or disapprove the nomination. I would really, in an ideal and perfect world, you'd like to see the process go unhinged or unbiased, and the nomination goes through. That's not going to happen. Of course, Obama is going to nominate liberal judges to the Supreme Court. And of course, Congress and the senators who are on the selection or the nomination committee are all going to be predominantly Republicans, and they're going to say, no, we don't approve, no, we don't approve, no, we don't approve, no matter who you send, be it an extreme socialist liberal in the mold of Bernie Sanders, or someone that's more in the middle of the spectrum, whoever it might be. Republicans aren't going to be happy unless they have a conservative judge that they're going to approve of. So we might come across a stalemate. I just feel sorry for two people in this whole process. Number one, Antonin Scalia. No one is even, caring that this dude died and passed away. And, like I said, it's not even funny. The body wasn't even cold before the arguments almost started immediately on what to do, who to nominate, and whatnot. Give the guy his due respect, bury him, and then let's, start debating over who should replace him, And Republicans, shame on them for doing that, I was watching the news as it happened. I was watching CNN, and then, almost immediately, Ted Cruz, I don't even think he said, my sympathies and thoughts and prayers go out to the Scalia family. All he said is I'm going to filibuster the nomination, whoever President Obama nominates. I'm going to make damn sure it doesn't get approved. What the fuck is that? These are grown adults that we're electing as our presidents. The other person I feel sorry for is the nominee that President Obama is going to pick. That dude or dudette is going to get rung through the cleaners. They're going to pick that person apart. The committee is, both through the vetting process and the nomination process. They're just going to grill that person. And whoever that person is, I hope they're strong and I hope they're ready for this. I'm sure Obama and his team are going to coach him up well and say, just be prepared to get grilled. But whoever the nominee is, they are going to get grilled. If you remember, not so far back, John Roberts, when he got nominated, even before that, going further back, Clarence Thomas, when it was discovered, his history and everything, he got grilled. A bunch of, even Reagan, I can't remember the dude he nominated, but he just got grilled and, eventually didn't get the chair. This was back in the late 80s when Reagan was still in the White House. So yeah, good luck to that guy, girl that's going to get nominated. But I think for all the show and dance that the Republicans are putting up, ultimately they're going to have to nominate one of the candidates that Obama puts up. The first one, I think it's going to be automatic no. Second one, they're going to waif on it. Third, if we get to the third one, they're going to say, okay, let's go ahead and nominate this person. Because then it'll be by June, July, August, September even. And it's going to look bad for the Republican presidential candidates if the Republicans keep denying up until August. We're talking about serious vote time. The time's getting shorter and shorter, and the candidates are yo, we can't string this out. You're making me look bad. What the fuck, man? So, good luck with all of that. I just hope, cooler heads prevail, smarter heads prevail, I should say, and we get a Supreme Court nominee nominated to the post sooner rather than later. So, going off of that, we had the primaries. We had the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primaries, and then we're going to have the South Carolina primaries this Saturday. Ted Cruz won in Iowa, which was kind of a surprise, but not really. He beat Trump, and Rubio came in a third, close third. And then Hillary, she won by the slimmest of margin. I think it was like 4 votes over Bernie Sanders in Iowa. And then Sanders just crushed Hillary in New Hampshire. Given that, it was Bernie Sanders' home state and everything, blah, blah, blah. He was supposed to win that. Now comes and then, of course, Trump, he won handedly in New Hampshire. Now comes the real test, because South Carolina has historically always been the great separator or the great decider primary of who will be the most likely candidate in both parties. You remember not long ago when George Bush, he was going against McCain back in the 2000 elections. South Carolina was the big separator, where McCain had won New Hampshire, and then Bush just handily won South Carolina. And then after that, wasn't long after that, Bush got the nomination, won the remaining primaries and got the nomination. And then more recently, Obama in 2008, where he just, trounced Hillary in South Carolina and went on to get the nomination. So South Carolina is going to be, historically has been the deciding primary on who's eventually going to get the nomination. So we'll see. This Saturday will be important. My opinion, I think Trump's going to get it, but he doesn't have the ground troops that Rubio and Cruz have in terms of the supporters, the candidate supporters that do go door to door and taking poll, saying, you're a registered Republican, who are you going to vote for, et cetera, et cetera. Trump skipped that in Iowa. He did that in New Hampshire, and it helped. How it does in South Carolina, which is traditionally a very conservative state, is yet to be proven, because Trump, he's still not openly accepted by the Republican Party. He's still seen as a liberal, and he's still seen as an outsider. And if South Carolina, with this conservative roots, proves proves what it has done historically, it'll be Ted Cruz winning in South Carolina. On the Democratic side, I'm looking at Bernie Sanders because I read or I heard an interesting report on, I want to say NPR or C-SPAN, that Hillary, the reason she lost in 2008 and the reason that she's losing or slipping now to Bernie Sanders is she doesn't have what it takes to get the votes. Meaning she doesn't have that it factor that Obama has, that a George W. Bush had, the likability factor, the factor that voters look for, like, do I like this person? Do I like Hillary? She comes off as very, not personable, very business, she's focused on the task at hand. Yeah, she goes to the primary, she does the meet and greet, and she has that weird, scary laugh that she's, I'm sure her handler said, you got to be more, like the people, laugh more. So she has this weird, scary laugh that she's been doing at the debates and everything, and then the town hall meetings, kind of off-putting. But she doesn't have the it factor to put her over the top with the majority of the voters. And Bernie Sanders has that. Bernie Sanders is very, he's very personable. He's very likable. He's very common folksy, which the voters, wouldn't say that about Hillary. They can't relate to her. They can relate to Bernie more than they can to Hillary. They can relate more to, say, Trump or even Ted Cruz than they can to Hillary. So, that was the big, thing that cost her the nomination in '08, and it's proving to happen again here in 2016, where she had a substantial lead in the early polls, but when it comes time to vote for voters to vote and decide, they go with the person that they most closely relate to, and it's Bernie Sanders. If Bernie Sanders gets the Democratic nod and Donald Trump gets the Republican nod, which could happen, and I was watching one of the debates or town hall meetings. Bernie Sanders said he would welcome Trump to a debate and he would thoroughly enjoy it. So, the Democrats, they're hoping Trump gets the nod, right? They're hoping Trump gets the nod because that's going to be an easy win for the Democrats. Trump doesn't have the meat and potatoes it takes to win a presidential election. He may have run a good campaign, but he just will not get the votes. And right now, the Democrats are on an all-time high, riding the Obama wave. And you could see it in the last debate. The real winner of that debate, as I think Tony Kornheiser said on his radio show, was Obama, because both Sanders and Clinton went out of their way to keep thanking Obama and for everything he'd done in the last 8 years. So Kornheiser said, the real winner is Trump in that debate, which I thought was fucking hilarious. So keep your eyes on the South Carolina primaries coming up this Saturday, and then we'll be moving on after that. But enough politics. Lots of shit going on in the sports world. Last time I left you, Alabama was raising its, I guess, fourth national championship under Saban. But fuck that. Fuck Alabama. I can't stand Alabama winning all the time, so I'm not even going to bother with that. But we had a bunch of playoff games. We had a Super Bowl. We had LeBron James firing a coach. Yes, LeBron James fired the coach. Despite what you may read, that the Cavaliers organization fired him. No, it was LeBron that fired David Blatt. Don't get it twisted. We had Cam Newton pouting. Cam Newton not going for a fumble that he clearly should have gone for. We had, from what I heard, we had a really great NBA dunk contest, but a real lousy NBA All-Star game where there was no defense played, and everyone was shooting and scoring at will. The score could have been the final score. Some people were saying they were surprised that it wasn't like 250 to 210. The way they were scoring on that All-Star game. I haven't watched an All-Star game in years, and for obvious reasons, because the game sucks. No one likes watching any All-Star game, really. I guess if you had to pick which is the most popular All-Star game from the 4 major leagues in America, it'd be baseball, because it's relevant and, it actually means something. Whichever league wins the All-Star, they get home field advantage. So it actually means something. The NFL All-Star game sucks. It just sucks. I can't even remember the last time I watched an NFL All-Star game. Because it doesn't matter. They should just do away with it. If you want my opinion, put the NFL All-Star game in the middle of the season like the Major League does, baseball does, and get it like a 2-week bye. I know that's blasphemy in the NFL world. NFL going on 2-week vacation in the middle of the season. But make the All-Star game in the middle, and whoever wins, hosts. I guess they can't say hosts the Super Bowl, but I don't know. Give them something. I don't know. But whatever. NFL All-Star All-Pro game sucks, right? The NBA All-Star Game sucks. The dunk contest I heard was pretty good. It was one for the ages where the two contestants, the finalists, I couldn't tell you who they were. I couldn't pick them out from a crowd, but I did see the highlights, and some of the dunks those guys were pulling off were fucking insane. Insane. People are saying that this year's All-Star Game was comparable to Jordan and Dominique's battle that they had back in the mid 80s. 86, 87, and whatnot. And that's saying a lot, you know. I thoroughly enjoyed the dunk competition, and then it was like Kobe's like farewell All-Star game. I really don't care. Kobe should have retired 2 seasons ago. You know, he's a shadow of his former self. Kobe hasn't been relevant in the league for 5 years now, so no one really cares. And let's get on while we're on NBA, let's talk about LeBron James and what a cancer LeBron James is to any team. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of LeBron James, fan email from me. Like, what are you talking about, man? LeBron James, the greatest thing since sliced bread. No. What was the reason for firing David Blatt? All David Blatt did in his short span as head coach of Cleveland Cavaliers is take the team to the NBA Finals, and then a year later have the best record in the Eastern Conference. Plain and simple, LeBron and David Blatt did not get along. And if we know anything about the NBA, it's a player-driven league. Coaches do not have the pull that coaches have and enjoy in the NBA. Or no, it's not NBA, NFL. You know, and even Major League Baseball. If a player, if a all-star top 5 player on an NBA team does not like you and doesn't get along with you, you'll be gone. You'll be fired, post haste. You know, there's a long history of that happening in the past, and this firing of David Blatt from Cleveland was just another example of it. Now, LeBron went on record to say, oh, I had nothing to do with that. Bullshit, LeBron. You had everything to do with it. And how come your boy Tyronn Lue is all of a sudden head coach now? You know, you're buddies with Tyronn Lue, and I'm sure you had no input to the Cleveland organization as to who should be the replacement head coach. No. LeBron's like, no, don't fire David Blatt. Don't put Tyronn Lue as a head coach. No. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on you, LeBron. You know? You went to the organization. You went to the owner. And you're like, look, he's got to go. Either he goes or I'm out of here. You know you did that. And the Cleveland organization is going to cower to you because they know without you, they're, below 500 team. Enjoy it while you can, LeBron. You got another 2, maybe 3 years in the prime, and then you're going to be Kobe this year. You're going to have send-off seasons coming up soon, you know. If Cleveland doesn't dump you or trade you in 2 years, you're going to be a free agent, and you're going to try and go on another LeBron tour the way you did, the way you shamelessly did after you left Cleveland the first time and after you left Miami when you couldn't handle the heat, pun intended, when things got tough in Miami. There'll be takers, but not the way they were the first 2 times. You're going to be like Shaq, you're going to be, like Vince Carter. You're going to be like Allen Iverson in the later years of their career. You're going to bounce around from team to team. You'll play 2 years in Phoenix. You'll play a year in Boston. You'll go back to Miami for a year, hoping to rekindle the magic with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, who are just going to give a big fat middle finger to you. So enjoy it while you can, LeBron. You're a team killer. You're a cancer, but but you don't want any of the blame. You want people to love you, but you don't want them, but you don't want any blood on your hand. Can't have it both ways, my man. You're a team killer and you're a cancer. You're not going to win shit ever again. And hope you enjoy. Have a nice career. See you in retirement. That's enough on LeBron James, And the people that email me and argue with me about, who's the greatest ever, and they give the reasons of why LeBron James is the greatest ever. I'm like, I'm not even going to argue you because that's not even an argument, you know? Because right now, LeBron James isn't better than Kobe. First, LeBron has to get better than Kobe. Then we can talk about LeBron and MJ, and it won't even be an argument because MJ is still the greatest of all time. No argument. And LeBron hasn't done shit by himself or proven he's worthy of that title. Send me your hate mail for LeBron. I'd be happy to share with everybody. Right? Let's talk about the Super Bowl. We had Denver and Carolina, and I'll just say right now, I watched the Super Bowl, but it was tough to watch. I fell asleep a couple times, only to be woken up, by commercials or, like Cam Newton not going for a fumble, That Super Bowl was boring because it was. I mean, from an NFL purist, they probably loved it, because it was a defensive battle, and that's the way NFL, that's the way football is supposed to be played, and blah 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 blah, But I was bored out of my mind. I was going for Carolina, but watching the first quarter and then into the second quarter and seeing Carolina not being able to do anything really, I'm like, Denver's going to win this fucking thing, And it came down to who, of course, both defenses showed up, right? Both defenses showed up. It was a matter of which offense and specifically which quarterback wasn't going to fuck it up. Peyton Manning had less fuck-ups than Cam Newton. And Cam Newton, fumble, interception, sacks. He got beat up in that game. He was taking sacks and hits all night long. He did not have time to get comfortable in that pocket and make the plays he was used to making. Give the Denver defense credit. They're legit. They might go down as one of the top 5 defenses of all time. Von Miller had a heck of a game. DeMarcus Ware had a heck of a game. All of those dudes did. They harassed Cam Newton all night long. Newton couldn't get into a rhythm, and got him off his game, and he was never comfortable. And the play of the game, other people might argue, nah, that wasn't the play of the game. Play of the game was when Cam Newton got hit by Von Miller in the fourth quarter. Got hit by Von Miller, and he fumbled. Cam Newton sees the ball. He starts running for it. Looks like he's ready to dive on it, but he steps back. He doesn't go for the ball. And that gives just enough of an open window for the Denver defense to recover. Now, Cam Newton and Cam Newton supporters will say, oh, no. Cam Newton thought a Carolina guy was going to jump on the ball, or that, someone from the Broncos was already had the ball or whatnot. Bullshit. There was a big enough time difference in that play. Cam Newton, he realized, if I go for this ball, I'm going to get beat up some more. I might break an arm going for it or whatnot. And in the words of Deion Sanders, he made a business decision not to risk his health, his livelihood, and go for that loose fumble. Now, he punked out. Plain and simple. Cam Newton punked out. And this is going to go a long way. Next training camp, when the Carolina show for training camp, and you're going to see NFL, you're going to see the Carolina Panthers teammates. Cam Newton's already going to hear it from everyone in the NFL. His teammates are going to be like, why am I putting out 110% and Cam Newton, he's not doing the same thing. It's going to affect the Cam Newton. It's going to affect the team. I don't think Carolina's going to be the same team next year just because of that one play. And just because of the lasting stigma the Denver defense had on Cam Newton. He might be the same in the regular season. They might get to the playoffs, but they're never going to return. They're not going to go all the way and win the Super Bowl, not with Cam Newton that one play is going to identify him. Just like Scott Norwood from the Buffalo Bills got identified for that one missed kick in the Super Bowl. Just like David Tyree for that helmet catch. Malcolm Butler for that fantastic interception in last year's Super Bowl. Cam Newton is going to be defined as he didn't go for that fumble. He punked out. He didn't go for it. One of his Carolina teammates was playing with a broken arm in that game. And I'm pretty sure if he was on the field, he would have dove for the ball. Cam Newton doesn't have it. And then you saw the pouting and the whining and the, blasé attitude in the post-game conference, press conference. That's going to have an effect on him and the team. You're a professional. You're the face of the franchise and you're the league MVP and you're acting like a 7-year-old. I don't care if you play with emotions. Everybody plays with emotions. But at the same time, everyone's a professional. Peyton Manning's lost Super Bowls. He came out there like a pro and handled that press conference like a pro. Drew Brees, Brett Favre, names go on and on. McNabb. They handle it like professionals. Nah, Cam Newton's a diva, and I think this is going to have a lasting impact. Both that one little play and Cam Newton's press conference afterwards. It's going to have an effect on him. Lasting effect, negative effect on him, both from his team and the NFL. The rest of the league. Every defense is going to point out to Cam Newton every chance they get next season. You punked out, you little bitch. You ain't going for the ball. And don't be surprised his teammates will say the same shit. March Madness is around the corner. I went to a couple of basketball games at George Mason. I take my kid there. He likes going there. And my oldest daughter, she's getting into the age where she's looking at colleges. So I took her and my son to a George Mason game. George Mason isn't going to make the tournament. But right around March time is when I get serious about college basketball. But for the life of me, I could not tell you which team is good, which team is bad, who has the chance to win it all. I just know right now it's a down year for college basketball. There's no real dominant team. There's no real dominant player. And I don't even think Duke's in the top 25 anymore this year. I think Duke is on their downward spiral. Coach K's lost interest or whatnot. But be sure when the tournament starts, I'll be watching it. I'll be betting on it. And I'll be into it. Who wins? Who cares? I really don't. As long as I make money off of it. That's all I really care about. Right? After that, then I wind up into my spring hibernation. I go into a spring hibernation. I'll do my shows, And look, before let me just put out there, I'm gonna try and do a show at least once a week. There are people, believe it or not, there are these 12 listeners that depend on my show on a weekly basis. I used to do 3 shows a week. Can you believe that? There was a time I used to do 3 shows a week. But every so often I go into a hibernation. Like last summer, I went in a hibernation from like July to September. I didn't do a show. This is like a mini hibernation from New Year's to now, right? I'm gonna try and do a weekly show. After college basketball championship, for the sporting wise, it's like such a dead time. Yeah, you got the Masters. Yeah, you got baseball. Yeah, you got NBA. Yeah, you got NHL. But I really don't have the same care or the same passion or the same interest that I do with football. I'm sorry, it's just not there. Right now, I can care less about the NBA. Right now, I can care less about NHL. And when baseball season starts in April, I can care less about that. I'm going to go to Nationals games, but, I just don't follow it as passionately as I do NFL and college football. Sorry, shoot me. But there's still a lot of shit to talk about. Such as, what has Quaz been watching lately. I'll tell you what. The other night, I finished watching the 30 for 30, the 85 Bears. Real fucking good. I enjoyed that thoroughly. You know, I was a little kid when the 85 Bears won the Super Bowl. And I remember watching the Super Bowl. I remember the players. I remember the NFC Championship game against the Rams. I remember William the Refrigerator Perry, Jim McMahon, Walter Payton, Matt Shuey, Gary Fensick, Richard Dent, Otis Wilson, Mike Singletary, Dan Hampton, Mongo McMichaels, Dick, Buddy Rogers. I remember all of those guys. And it was a magical year that year because I watched, because you remember that. And then when I watched the 30 for 30 show, it made me remember again of that season. Um, you know, they interviewed a lot of the old guys, and they had Buddy Ryan on there. He's been on a downhill fight with cancer. He's really old now. Um, they had moments with Buddy Ryan and Singletary. I would have liked to have seen, Ditka and Ryan sit down and talk, but they didn't have that. I guess there's still animosity there, right? I don't care. It was still a great, great, great piece, and I love 30 for 30 um, episodes. I watch almost every single one of them, which is one 30 for 30 I like to see covered. The next one that they're going to have is called Fantastic Lies, about the Duke men's lacrosse team and when they hired that black stripper and they ended up raping her in their house or whatever. I'm going to watch that for sure. I'm going to watch it. What I'd like to see, I had a sub. This is like in the 90s. Shoot, I can't remember. Can't remember. Anyways, I'm not gonna waste airtime trying to remember which 30 for 30 I'd like to see taped or make a documentary out of. There's plenty of good ones. You know, maybe about skateboarding in the 90s. I know 30 for 30 is heavy on the mainstream sports, but skateboarding in the early to mid 90s, late 80s, early 90s, I consider the golden age of skateboarding. If they can bring all the guys together from those days, like Tony Hawk and the Bones Brigade, and then the H Street guys, Tony Magnuson, Matt Hensley, all those guys. If they can bring those guys together and do a documentary on skateboarding then, I think that'd be must see. I do look, I still watch those fucking H Street videos. They have them on YouTube, H Street Shackle Me Not and Hocus Pocus. Man, you want to talk about, I still get amped when I watch those videos. Makes me want to grab my skateboard and go out skateboarding all over again, try and do kick flips and ollie impossibles and shit. Even though I bust my ass now, Oh man. But watching those H Street videos, it just takes me back to, my childhood when the only important thing for me in those days was like, where am I going to go skate today? I used to love it, and yeah, they can do a documentary on, skateboarding in the 90s with all those cats, H Street, Powell Peralta, Alva. They did one of like, the Dogtown boys. That was great. I loved it. They made a documentary, which was great. They made a movie, which was great. But need to do one of, oh, if anyone hasn't seen it, watch the documentary on Mark Gator Rogowski. He was a professional skateboarder for, I think, I can't remember which skateboarding company, Vision Skateboards, I think. And he was one of the top skaters in the late 80s and even in the early 90s. But he got arrested for murdering a girlfriend. And I watched a documentary on it. It was riveting. Look it up. Just Google Mark Gator Rogowski and documentary. I can't remember the name of it, but I have a copy. I have a DVD copy, and it is riveting. Every time if it's on TV, which is far and few in between, I'll watch it. If it's on, if I whip out the DVD, I'll watch it. It's that good. Um, but I watched The Martian with Matt Damon. Um, Even though I liked it, I thought it was going to be more like Interstellar, but it wasn't. Um, because it wasn't made by the same guys, that made Interstellar. I'm talking about the guys that produced Interstellar were the same guys that did, the Dark Knight Rises, and a couple of other movies that were really good and done really well. So I thought it was going to be done by those guys, but it was done by Michael Mann. Nothing against Michael Mann, but watching the movie, the first 10 minutes, I already know what was going to happen. You know, Interstellar was kind of the movie that I still go back to as like the one that just still blows my mind. Because it makes you think. The Martian was very predictable. You know, so I watched. I watched a bunch of shit. I watched the Grammys. I didn't watch the Grammys. I saw the highlights. You know, they did a tribute to Lionel Richie, which was okay. They did a tribute to Lemmy, which was okay. They did a tribute to Glenn Fry, which was okay. But after that, I could not name more than two of the artists on there: Taylor Swift and Adele. Everyone else was like above my head. I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you, and I definitely don't know you. You know, I think I'm just out of touch and old. I think the generation, the pop culture has passed me by. But that's okay. I got my own little pop culture world, and I'm okay with that. You know, I like my YouTube skate videos. I like my YouTube wrestling videos, and I'm comfortable there. I got my own little niche, and I'm fine with that. I'm a '90s guy, and we're in the year 2016. Yeah, time has passed me by, but I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay that I can't identify the top rapper in the industry right now because I really don't know and I really don't care because right now rap sucks. Golden age of rap was in the late 80s and early 90s. If you want to listen to some good rap, go look up any of those rap groups from those days. Talking about NWA, talking about Ice Cube, talking about Biggie, Pac, Public Enemy, Cypress Hill. Look those up, EPMD, Tribe Called Quest. That was fucking music, man. Right now, maybe one or two rapper piques my interest. After that, I was like, ugh, I don't care. It sucks, you know. There is a lot more going on. There's a lot more I can discuss, but I'm kind of winging this show tonight. I don't really have my notes with me, because I have my notes oftentimes. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about this on the show. I'm going to talk about that on the show. Talk about Kardashians. I'm going to talk about, the Oscars and movies I've seen. I gotta say, my family and I went to see this one movie. I couldn't tell you the name of it. I couldn't tell you who was in it except for Rob Schneider. It was a computer animated CGI cartoon movie about a polar bear. And that's all I can tell you. And very forgettable. I fell asleep. Through a good portion of the movie. The other thing I have a gripe: the movie theaters. I understand you got to have a low temperature to keep the viruses and bugs out of your movie theaters because the movie theaters get real sloppy, real messy, real dirty, But goddamn, can we keep it at a comfortable 72? So the last time I went to see a movie theater, it was in January. The temperature was like 63, man, or like 59, and I was freezing. Like fuck, you want to make it enjoyable, Exterminate the movie theater after the people are gone, but fucking raise the temperature. God damn it. Pray for your boy Quaz. I got a couple job interviews coming out. Well, don't pray for me, because I could be atheist listening to this fucking show. And they'll be like, well, what the fuck you want me to do? Why you ask me to pray, dude? You know? And believe me, I get emails like that. But anyways, God, you know, I'm still grinding. I still got my day job, but I'm hoping to get a better job. So, you know, think good thoughts for your boy this week. And I'm gonna have a new show for you same time next week. I hope. You know, no guarantees, but that's what I'm gonna shoot for. Sorry for the no shows for almost a month and a half, but you got a show right here. Thank you for everybody that does continue to listen, that does continue to email and support. Please keep watching me. You can find me on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search for Quazemoto Show. You can listen to this episode and a bunch of past episodes. I have my Tumblr page, tumblr.com/Quazemoto. Just go to Tumblr and look up Quazemoto, and I post the shows up there. Also on my Facebook and my Twitter handle. I think that's more than ample places for there to get the show out to the people, to the masses. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. This is your boy Quaz. This is the Quazemoto Show. Peace, everybody.